Good morning. My name is Jenny McNutt, and this is my final project for mathematical modeling. The project I chose is the student's final project in which they need to simulate or model, if you will, their future life. And so I'm just going to scroll real quick so you can see the different parts of the project. Students will need to choose a career. In this project, they're mid-20s, and so assuming that they went to college, not every student chooses to. We're doing kind of a starting salary, the beginning of their career. They will need to pay their taxes. We do this in a tax chapter, so we model what that looks like. We use the tax charts for said model. Students need to plan their education. We go through, if you are going to college, what type of student loan do you need? Every student comes back and says, I'm going to pay for it all through scholarships. So I allow some flexibility and I say, let's assume you get half scholarships or half financial aid, and you need to take out a student loan for the second half. Students need to find living, a car. They need to think about, are they a golfer, which takes a lot of money for their hobbies? Do they buy video games? Do they stream? Do they do sports, other sports that are expensive? What type of hobbies are going to cost them money? And then we talk about monthly expenses. And so I list a few of their expenses right here. Of course, every expense does not apply to every student. Then I make them do a circle graph of their budget. They must calculate their front end and back end ratio so that they can prove that they can afford their home based on the salary. And then this one is just fun. Do you see yourself with lots of kids? Do you see yourself married? And whatnot. I have a grading rubric, and I included in this project a student sample. And so this particular student chose a travel nurse, and I'll just kind of go through the slides pretty quickly. The neat thing about this project is that it is 100% individualized. I did not go back and vet that this was an A+ project. When I show past projects to kids to give them an idea of what this project looks like, I spend a little bit more time picking out great things these people did and these past projects and things that they could improve upon so that students do not make similar mistakes. And so it's fun for them to shop for cars. They're about 17 and 18 years old in my class. It's fun for them to think about their hobbies in the future. I talk a lot about, just think about even going out to eat, especially right now, and how much you can waste just going to get coffee and things like that. They need to make sure that they have money left over at the end. They do their front end and back end ratio. I encourage them here to show their math, and this student chose not to, so I can check the accuracy. And then it's always fun for students to put in their celebrity crushes. The next part of the project, I'm just going to read the slides to you. So my conceptual understanding was evident throughout the project. One example is when calculating net income, students must have a conceptual understanding to multiply by 0.062 when you calculate Social Security taxes from their income to their income and subtract all of the taxes when calculating net income. That is not obvious to many of them when we start our tax unit. Procedural fluency is evidenced throughout the project. One example is students need to understand the procedure for calculating their student loan payment. Each student's individual tuition, 4 years divided by 2. We talked about taking half for the student loan and then substituting those variables into that monthly payment And so this is demonstrated when students calculate their student loan payment and interpret whether or not that is a reasonable amount to pay. Strategic competence. Students develop procedural fluency as they use their strategic competence to choose among effective procedures, demonstrating flexibility of approach as seen in our Module 4. Therefore, calculating student loan payments and knowing which formula to use, what the variables represent, and how to type it into their calculators are all part of strategic competence. Adaptive reasoning. Students learn in the housing unit that their mortgage or rent payment should not exceed 28% of their gross monthly income. Students use adaptive reasoning in this section of the project by knowing which numbers make up the front end and back end ratios, how to calculate the percentage, and what to do if the percentage exceeds 28%. Students either then need to find a new, less expensive housing option, or they need to find a side hustle to supplement their monthly income. Productive disposition. My hope for this project is that students gain understanding and confidence of their ability to choose a career and calculate their monthly budget, including major expenses such as student loans, taxes, car payments, insurance, and daily living. As with many parts of life, practicing increases our skills and our faith in ourselves, and this project is no exception. My conclusion for the course is that this really validates what I'm already doing in my financial algebra. It taught me to view my simulations and other projects I do with each unit from the perspective of the 5 strands of modeling, and I think I might revise some of my lessons to help my kids, many of whom come in not very competent in their skills, and hopefully gain more confidence about their abilities to be successful. I have also enjoyed being a math student. This is my first math class in 30 years, and just coming up with projects and doing the math and not having it just be new and fun. In a nutshell, the 5 strands, I have learned as a student to be a better educator. Students come into my class where every problem is now a word problem. So despite this being their 4th high school math credit, they do not come in with basic skills like knowing when you read of, you'll use multiplication, or how much more will mean to subtract. And so this ties directly into that conceptual understanding and procedural fluency. And I did not go on and on in an attempt to keep this presentation as short as possible, or at least in the timeline. I think I'm a little bit over. And there is my reference. And so that concludes my project. Thank you so much. This was an enjoyable experience for me, and one of 6 courses that I need to get my dual enrollment certification. So thanks for being a part of that.